UFC 280 has officially concluded in spectacular fashion. Just how you'd expect the biggest fight card of the year to end. One glaring question the world is left with after the split decision on the main event that was not the main event is the UFC rigged? In case you missed it, Suga Sean Omalley went toe-to-toe with Petr Yan for a thrilling 15 minutes that kept us all on the edge of our seats. These two assassins exchanged a flurry of blows on their feet in the form of some dominant striking on both sides of the octagon. Sean dipped and dodged like he normally does and was able to use his reach to his advantage, but this was one of the first times UFC fans saw him get legitimately rocked from an opponent. Petr brought his wrestling to the octagon for full display as he had 6 successful takedowns on 13 attempts. Sean never got caught for anything noteworthy other than time being controlled on the ground as he was consistently twisting and turning and using his lanky body to get established back on his feet. When it was all said and done, the match ended with a split decision that left O'Malley fans happy and a vast majority of MMA fans shaking their heads. Does this apparently dominant performance by Yan prove that the UFC is rigged? When you factor in ground control, it would appear the answer is yes. But judging a fight is a sticky thing to do and subjective depending on what you value more in a fight. When we look back at Ngannou vs. Gane, it would appear that ground control is the only thing that matters, as Ngannou more or less just laid down on Gane for the entirety of the match to maintain his title as the heavyweight champion. Things break down a little more favorably for Suga Sean when you favor significant strikes as your metric for fighting standards. He had 84 versus Yan's 58, not to mention he landed 63 shots on Yan's head versus only 24 to O'Malley's dome. Suga also caught Petr very good on the right eye and was able to split him open to produce a nice bloodbath for everyone in Abu Dhabi. So in essence, if we are judging on excitement factor, I say yes, Sean absolutely deserved the win. The problem is, ground control and takedowns do seem to be the deciding factor historically speaking, at least when either fighter doesn't absolutely dominate the other in the striking department. And in this match, both men did solid damage striking, although numerically, Sean does have the edge. The question then remains, does Dana White have an incentive to push for a young and rising talent who has a cult-like following on social media to win and be set up for a shot at the championship belt? And why would he be incentivized to push for this win against a dominant contender in Petr Yan, who, although is an incredible fighter, is not nearly as exciting and as much of a crowd draw? I think the answer is obvious. Since the decline and fall of Conor McGregor, the UFC is looking for the next big thing, the next fighter to fill the role of the sport's heel. A guy with a big ego and the bravado to sell more tickets and more pay-per-views. And it takes virtually no brains to see that that guy is Sean O'Malley. Make no mistake, I am a huge Sean O'Malley fan, and I'm beyond excited to see him take home the W. But for as long as I've been watching the UFC, I was expecting this fight to go to Yan, and even Sean's body language and response in the post-fight interview suggest he was thinking the same thing. Petr Yan may have gotten robbed in this one, and truth be told, this might put a lot of doubt in fans' minds for the validity of the sport. But ultimately, we will all be tuning in to the next pay-per-view event starring the Suga Show. And if you're like me and enjoy the UFC as a solid form of entertainment, that means that we as fans all left as winners after this one. This is the Athlete Academy. Thanks for watching.